Okay, guys, we're GameDoods, and this is our first video review on YouTube, and we decided to go for Super Smash Bros. Brawl. And if Cortez would kindly put down my DS, it would be appreciated. So here we are, and we're going to leave you with the opening sequence. And during this entire game, there's loads of CGI sequences. And today I'm joined by Jack White the Fifth and Cortez himself. And we are going to be talking you through our opinions of this game. So, first impressions, Jack White the Fifth. What have you been thinking about Brawl?
I think overall it's a pretty good game. Multiplayer-wise, probably the best you can get on Wii. I mean, Wii Sports does wear off after a while. Single player, the subspace can be very annoying. Definitely, the inclusion of Toon Link was a big hit for me. But overall, yeah, the multiplayer is where it's at.
And Cortez, what are your opinions of your first impressions of the game?
Yeah, it's not bad. One of the best games on the Wii, I'd have to say. The inclusion of some of the characters was a big plus for me, like Snake, Sonic, Pit, also Meta Knight. He's a big one for me. Generally, the game's great. The gameplay's always been the same, but has always been a plus point. All in all, I really like it.
Excellent. That's great to know. So, as we're seeing some brilliant sequences here in the opening scenes, and there's quite a few CGI sequences in Subspace as well. So, in terms of the gameplay, in the single-player mode, Subspace Emissary, I myself found it quite a chore to get through. It was just sort of a way of getting all the characters and making it through to the end, so that I could just play all the characters online, and just play with everyone. But yeah, they say it's about a 10-hour gameplay. I found myself doing it in about 7 hours, so it takes some time. But yeah, it's quite a chore to do. What do you think of the Subspace, Jack White?
Subspace is a chore. It is really long. It's all you want is the cutscenes. The gameplay's repetitive and boring. And I've heard some critics say that the enemies aren't from particular games, which is wrong because there's plenty of Koopas and those strange things from Kid Icarus, and so that's not my criticism. It's just the repetitiveness, and I'd definitely say it's the multiplayer where it's at.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you that it's very, very repetitive. What would you say, Cortez?
Yeah, Subspace can get quite boring at times. I'd say the only good bit are probably the bosses and the CGI cutscenes, and thankfully, the developers understood that and they kept it in. So, for example, you can go to boss battles and you can also watch all the CGI cutscenes afterwards, which is great.
Right, so now we're just having a look at a Brawl here, and this is basically where all the action is at. That's why the name of the game is Smash Brothers Brawl, and it's all about the multiplayer experience, and I have to say it's probably one of the best multiplayer games on the Wii. I mean, there's loads of options in terms of items and things. You've got the inclusion of the new Smash Balls, you've got the Dragoon, which is a nice new item, and there's just loads of important, just massive graphical interfaces. I mean, the graphics themselves have come on leaps and bounds since Melee, and yeah, you can see loads of improvement in that aspect. And so, what are your guys' impressions of these new improved graphics?
The graphics, yeah, they've improved. I mean, I think the pirate ship stage from Wind Waker graphically, I mean, it's so similar to the game. It's really quite something. And when you look at Toon Link himself, all the bomb graphics and the cell shadedness, and other than that, though, the realistic graphics, yeah, they're top notch. What you'd get for a Wii, but I mean that you could always see it on PS3 or whatever, but it will never happen. But for Wii, these are the best graphics possible.
Well, yeah. So the graphics are really quite something. So Cortez, what do you think?
I think they're also great. The artwork's pretty good as well. For example, the trophies and all the CGI cutscenes, they're great fun to watch.
Okay, great. So that's all the graphics are well and good. So all the added content we've got in Brawl, I mean, there's loads of extra stuff which Melee didn't have. And like all the new characters, the new trophies, the inclusion of stickers, which in my opinion are quite pointless, but yeah, there's loads of that, and mainly you unlock all of this in Subspace, and you have to just trawl through the entire thing to get it all. my personal favorite in terms of the character roster additions is the addition of Sonic. I know there was a lot of controversy over him being added to the game, but I think he brings a new aspect to it. He's extremely fast as well, which is a nice addition. Jack White, what are your impressions on the new characters?
Sonic's great, yeah. You do get him a bit late in the game, that's my only gripe. Toon Link you get very late as well, that he's the other main character, I would say. Then again, I love just being Mario for his averageness, and you can just master him compared to the other characters. But overall, Toon Link is definitely the biggest inclusion for me.
And Cortez, what about you?
Most of the characters are great fun to play as. There are a few which are pretty pointless inclusions, such as Jigglypuff. It was in the last game and no one really used it, and now no one really uses it again. Although Toon Link and a few others like Sonic, Wolf are great inclusions, the inclusions of all the old characters are just as great. Link, Mario, Luigi, they're all good. So I think Nintendo made a good choice with their character roster. Right,
that's great. And in terms of the lifespan of the game, it's going to go on for quite a while. I mean, there's like over 500 trophies for you to collect. And this is probably one of the main aspects for me, I'd say. All the nostalgic Nintendo history that you're getting. And it's just great to see all this stuff loaded into one game. As you can see, the inclusion of stickers as well. Although they don't have descriptions, there's lots of stuff stuck in there. So yeah. In terms of this new stage creation, it's quite interesting. I mean, it allows you to customize stages fully and add whatever sort of touches you want to them. But yeah, what's your opinion on the customizable stages, Jack White?
I really don't use it at all. I really don't think that stages you create will be anywhere as good as the ones they have. I mean, the graphics on them just look a bit, it just looks like Lego, basically. It's just boring and dumb. Yeah, so overall, I mean, just stay clear of this area. It's really boring. It's for noobs. It's not that great. Otherwise, I really like the trophies. I think the inclusion of all the previous GameCube games is just great. I mean, becoming a proper Nintendo fan in the GameCube era, to have the trophies coming from that era is just much better than the N64, where I really didn't know a lot of the games. So yeah, trophies are the highlight for me.
And Cortez, I hear you're quite keen on the vault itself, trying to unlock everything in there. What's your sort of idea on collectibles?
Well, Nintendo and Brawl the developers behind Brawl have obviously added quite a bit. There's an awful lot more than the last game: trophies, stickers, challenges. The inclusion of Wi-Fi has allowed Nintendo to send you new videos of themselves doing all sorts of different things, such as home runs, stage creating, and basically Nintendo have tried to sort of give you an all-out effect of how amazing themselves are.
Yeah, so there's quite a lot of stuff in this game. As you can see, we're seeing one of the best CGI sequences in the game here. Just really, really well done and polished, and pretty brilliant graphics. So in terms of its lifespan, this game's going to last you a hell of a long time. You'll probably be still into it by Christmas and even next year, trying to get everything that there is. So yeah, that's basically it. I mean, in terms of the online, we know it's laggy, etc. But you know, it's good fun while it lasts. Yeah. So let's finish watching this scene and get our ratings on the board. So the final scores. I would rate this at a 9.6. I think it's an excellent game.
And I would have to give it a 9.4.
Yeah, 9.2. There's room to improve.
So that's a total of 28.2 out of 30, and that is our first game review. And I hope you enjoyed it. Sure we all did, and this is goodbye from all of us.
I'm from Jack White.
And I'm Cortez.
And this was NBZ. So see you later, guys.